Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my Pick-up Pile readings. And this spread is intended to support you through the retrograde rigmarole. So there's a lot happening in our planets right now. We just went into Pluto retrograde. We've got Venus retrograde, Saturn retrograde. We had the full moon in Scorpio. The sun is shifting in Gemini this month. We'll have the new moon in Gemini in about a week or so. And then as we coast into June, we come upon the eclipse season with the Mercury retrograde towards the end of June. And so here's what my intention is. I want to empower you through this energy. I feel like retrograde energy has this doom and gloom shadow over it. And if you can consciously go into this energy prepared, feeling supported, I truly believe you can thrive through these next couple months. We have cycles that are completing. I believe Saturn is doing some work where we've got this 3-year cycle that's been completed. So some of you have been really focusing on personal growth, spiritual growth. Some of you in developing your relationships, partnerships. Maybe it's your marriage, friendships. Maybe it's developing or having a deeper support with your family. Maybe it's your career. There are a lot of people that are focusing energy on growth. Hence the timeout, the break, the global shutdown, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to pick 3 cards as themes. And, I always encourage you to sit with what you feel like you resonate with. You could come back to this reading in a couple weeks and another pile may resonate with you. Or you might be sitting and looking at the piles here and you might be guided to 1 or 2 of them, or you might be guided to watch all 3. I truly believe that you can receive messages from each one of the piles in some form at some time. So the cards I'll be using, I'm going to be picking themes from the numerology guidance cards. And then what the divine sees needs to be healed during this retrograde season. And this is intended for the next couple months, like May into June. Let's see what the divine suggests or encourages you to surrender to support your healing. Lessons, what lessons are you learning as we shift into this energy? Of course, sacred geometry activations, what's being activated within you. So the intention is what's being activated so when things start going direct, you can kind of slingshot forward. And then finally, actions with the Angel Therapy Oracle cards, an overall actions that you can take during this time. So let me see here. Let me just put these aside in case I need them. Is there anything else I want to say? No, let's get into it. So let me open space as usual. I want to invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, so let's pull 3 cards. What themes for this retrograde rigmarole? What does the universe, the divine, see that you need to focus your attention on during this retrograde season? All right, so I'm just going to pick the top 3. That's what I'm guided to do. So we'll have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I just I'm feeling guided to show you the bottom of the deck overall for everyone. Surrender. This is for everybody across the board. 9 + 1 = 10. 10 is the brand new cycle. So one of the overall themes that everybody can do through this retrograde season is surrender. So focus on where in your life that you're resisting. Maybe you're trying to force something to happen. Maybe change is coming upon you and you're fighting it. I feel like the overall message is to surrender into the divine. Let go and give it to God, right? And so I feel like even this numerology here with the symbolism of the 9 endings, the 1 new beginnings, there's a lot of new energy that's coming in. And so for a lot of earth angels, we're coming into energy and experiences that we've never experienced on this planet before. Higher levels of love, higher vibrations or intense vibrations of connection, which can spark emotions and energy within the body. So some of you may feel extra pain in your body. Some of you might be feeling extra emotional. And I feel like surrender into them. When a mother has gone into labor, one of the things that they teach in breath classes is to breathe into the pain, surrender into the pain, and relax through it as much as possible. I know it's, obviously when you're going through intense experience, but a lot of you right now are going through this metamorphosis and the universe is pushing, and the retrograde energy is just going to support you in helping you see where to focus your energy. So the hardest thing, and I get this all the time with my clients when they're like, Gladys, what can I do? I'm looking for purpose and guidance and I'm having challenges through this experience and I'm trying. I always say do nothing, and that freaks people out. I mean, it freaked me out when I heard it. And because we're taught as society to take action. Action is results. Now, that's true to a point, but if you're doing it from a place of burnout, if you're doing it without intention, like clear intentions, a lot of times you just end up spinning your wheels and burning your energy. So, focused intention through these next couple of months. How do you face what's roaring at you the most and surrender into it, knowing that God has your back 1,000%. This is what's helping you get stronger. All right, so that being said, let's put that away and let's get into the piles. So for the first pile, we have, I'm so glad this came out. Self-love. I already feel a warm hug from this card. 6 + 1 = 7. It's interesting because 6, the number for me, represents home and family and support. And of course, we have new beginnings. So maybe you'll be learning new beginnings in self-love. And this goes deeper than like pampering yourself. This is about creating healthy spiritual disciplines to support your energy. This is being mindful of how you're talking to yourself, that inner critic or that inner bully within. And again, I feel like I'm guided to say, as within, so without. As above, so below. So I feel like this will, there's a lot of mirroring that's happening. And this card will help you, or this pile may help you with focus. Okay, so I don't want to channel too much. So let's see here. Pride. Interesting. Here we have the 1 and the 9 flipped, right? So number 19, 9 + 1 = 10. Again, new beginnings here, ending of cycles. So this pride card. So there's a difference between spiritual pride and ego boastful pride. And so what are you resisting? It's like, what are you hiding from? The last couple weeks in my weekly Sunday readings, the words, be honest with yourself, kept coming up. Like, really look at it. And I feel like maybe during this retrograde season, you might be exploring different facets of what pride means. So the energy of pride is in your throat, your lungs, it's breath work. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to say too much. Just kind of want to give you an idea. And then finally, we have... Oh, all right. This is such a bright card. Okay, so we have creativity number 3. So if you've had ideas, projects that you've been wanting to work on, and you're having a hard time getting motivated, or this is also sacral chakra energy. I know the sacral chakra is orange, but it's empowerment. The yellow here is like empowerment through creativity. So maybe you're putting things off that you know will be amazing. Creativity is the new way of making money, creating things that can be infinite. So for example, my YouTube channel, it's infinite, the amount of videos that I can put out there. I mean, I have obviously set boundaries with it, but there is an infinite number of videos that I can put out based on angels, what's going on in the world, the planets. There's so many different themes and topics based on all the different cards I could use. And so really, entrepreneurs in the spiritual realm are tapping into this creative energy. I like to use the example of Chip and Joanna Gaines. They use their creative energy to create. So there's like an infinite number of houses and coffee shops and hotels and things that they can renovate. Now they're onto a network. Oprah, same thing, content creator. She puts out books and magazines and information to support people. So, maybe if you're struggling with life purpose and you feel like you're not creative and you're getting backed up, so there's drama in your life, or maybe you're not feeling pleasure, this may be the pile for you. Okay, so let's see here. So these are the piles. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the rest of the cards for these piles. If you don't want to watch and you want to skip ahead, I'm going to put the timestamps in the description box below. I'm also going to put the cards that I'm using, and I'll put a link to Amazon if you wanted to purchase them. But also, too, I put them there because you may have these decks at home and you can go into the deck to get more information for support. All right, friends, so we're going to start with Whispers of Healing. Okay, so let's just start here. What is being healed this retrograde? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go with these 3 because that's what popped out. Okay. What is in need of being surrendered? Pile 1 during the retrograde season. Okay, so let's go. Let's make it loud and clear. Okay. And for pile 2, surrender. And pile 3, needs to be surrendered during this retrograde season. Okay, what lessons are being learned? Soul lessons for pile 1. Let's go this one. I'm just kind of watching as they pop out. Pile 2, soul lessons for pile 2. And soul lessons for pile 3. Soul lessons for pile 3. And what's being activated for pile 1 during this retrograde season? What's being activated for pile 2 during this retrograde season? And what's being activated for pile 3. So there's 2 here that are coming out for pile 3. And then finally, overall action steps. What can you do? Where do you need to focus? Pile 1, action steps for pile 2, and pile 3. Action steps for pile 3. Where to focus your energy. Okay. So if you've been watching up until this point, I'm going to pause for a few moments. Pile 1, self-love. Pile 2, pride. Pile 3, creativity. Just take a deep breath. Just feel where your body's being guided. Maybe you see a color in your mind. Maybe you just know. Okay, let's begin. So those of you who chose pile 1, welcome. Self-love. So here we have, once again, card number 61. 6 plus 1 equals 7. 7 is spiritual insight. It is the shadow. It is the unseen. So part of the message here, I feel, is during this retrograde season, you may see things about yourself, how you may be sabotaging yourself, how you may be hard on yourself, which really isn't self-love. And being guided to bring back the surrender card. How are you maybe trying to force things to happen? So like I said, the 7, I believe, will show you what's in the unseen. Maybe you might see patterns within people, challenges within people that may mirror what's going on within yourself. So what is in need of healing? Pile 1. Barriers. Interesting. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 is about stability, structure. The planet, Mother Earth, is in a 4 energy in numerology. In her 9-year cycle, if you add the numbers of 2020, it equals 4. And so there's a lot of restructuring. We just came out of, like, with the North and South nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, which are opposing signs. So it was like, how do we bring in the love and the feeling side of things and create structure? And a lot of you may have been working on boundaries, and maybe your boundaries will be tested. Maybe you've made some changes and things might come back for you to be firm and assertive in what your barriers and boundaries are, which is an act of self-love. No is a sentence. No, thank you. Not right now. When you can get clear about who you are and what your needs are, what type of support feels good to you, you can express that to the divine and the universe. So we have this shadow and light energy that moves through us. Maybe you call it the ego and the spiritual part of you. But this ego part of you wants to keep you in a container. It's almost like when you start to feel pain and resistance, immediately the ego kicks in and wants to, like, veer in another direction, saying, oh, that's too hard. So where are you getting resistance? And how can you set boundaries and be assertive and firm in your boundaries in a healthy way? That's a deep, deep level of self-love. So what needs to be surrendered here? Let's see. Interesting. Surrender to negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus your positive affirmations. So here's the thing, friends. If you're being activated or triggered by negativity in the world, in the news, maybe you're around negative people, you gotta ask yourself, how are you being negative with your own self and your thoughts? It's interesting. One thing I notice, I observe a lot. I've learned a lot through observation. And one of the things I notice, and I'm very mindful not to do this because I so want to, is when people go live. I've noticed that women will pick themselves apart in the beginning. Like they'll make a comment about what they're wearing or their messy house or what their hair looks like. And it's so subconscious. They have no idea they're doing it. And so maybe during this retrograde season, if you're having a hard time with boundaries and barriers, or people are not respecting those, and it's activating this negative thinking within you, this judgment, this expectations that people should be a certain way, pause these next couple months and ask yourself, how have you been self-critical? This is a tough pile. This is like, you got to look at and take ownership for the life that you've created. Sometimes people are like, oh, what did I do to create that? Or why is that coming in my life? And sometimes people don't realize the energy that they're putting off, the resentment or the bitterness they're putting off. And that can be a hard thing to face. I certainly, grew up around it. And, it's part of the society that we've been in, especially with women. I've talked about all these these last couple months, or really at the end of the year into the beginning, really since like probably November, December, I've been talking about the sacral chakra energy and joy and pleasure and laughter, which has to clear out anger, resentment, and bitterness, which robs you of your joy, of your love, of your laughter and play. And this is a pathway to deeper levels of self-love and what support you need from the divine and from your 3D world. I'm being guided to bring up the surrender card here. I'm feeling like they're saying there's no more that you really have to do other than be aware of this. My intention when I went into this reading was give it to us raw. Like, tell us point blank what we need to focus on so that we can have a better quality of life and really capitalize on the energy of this retrograde energy. And here it is, friends, right? Maybe you have people in your life that are tough, or maybe they set really hard, firm boundaries and they have no problem asking or respectfully demanding. And maybe you have like a judgment to it, like, so ask yourself, how are you on the other side of the spectrum where you might be not asking, or you may not be receiving at all? And I can tell you, this negative thinking comes from a depleted energy, from a lack of love. And again, all you have to do is be mindful of it and then redirect your attention on things that feel good. When I sit down and eat my food, I really enjoy my food. I literally, I have a like a storage rack in my kitchen. My food is not in closets. It's all laid out on a storage rack in the kitchen. So I can see my food, everything that's available, and I can decide, well, do I feel like having beans or rice, or what do I feel like making? And I have to say, I don't have a lot of food in my refrigerator either. I basically buy as needed because I can easily get overwhelmed. But for me, that's a level of love for myself, like pausing and giving myself a moment to decide what I really feel like eating rather than grabbing junk or grabbing something quick. It's a conscious decision. And then I sit and I really enjoy the food. I mean, I had tuna fish the other night at like 9 o'clock at night because that's what my body wanted. And it was great. So anyway, so these are just small ways that you can be mindful of this and how to activate deeper levels of self-love during these retrogrades. So what lessons are you learning? Discipline. Yes, this word has been coming up a lot in my sessions lately. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Earth angels tend to have a challenge with follow through, repetition, process in order to create stability. And so earth angels tend to have really highly creative energy, and we can, unfortunately, the shadow part, lack follow through or lack the step-by-step process to achieve goals. And so here's the thing, we can certainly get into this comfort zone of negative thinking, looking on the outside world, what everybody else is doing, or really saying yes to everything, not respecting our barriers and boundaries. And so discipline is something that you have to continue to show up to. So if discipline is a trigger word for you, so I know, there are many of you that probably have had unhealthy disciplinarians growing up. Maybe you were in a religious school and they punished you if you didn't perform. Maybe you had strict parents because they had strict parents. Regardless, you can make changes and embrace and surrender into discipline. And so other words that I like to use is rituals or traditions. So if you don't brush your teeth on a regular basis, 2 times a year at the dentist isn't going to maintain your teeth. So earth angels right now have to find healthy, regular spiritual practices to maintain their energy. If you observe people in the spiritual community who've been in it in a while, it's very easy to get caught up in messy, yucky energy, and beautiful spiritual light beings who are really great teachers on this planet can easily shift and go into ego and bully, and they can kind of like get off on their intuition and insight, which is a different vibration of insight, and then their own lives can become messy. They get sick. It's so funny. As I just said that, the sirens went off. I hear Archangel Michael coming in. So Archangel Michael is saying, call him in to assist. There are many of you out there that need to clear your energy on a regular basis. This does not mean that people have power and control over you. You're a sensitive being, and you can easily absorb into other people's energy, and their programs can easily and subconsciously become your programs. Now there is a mirror there in some way, and there's something for you to learn from it. So regular chakra clearing meditations, regular energy work. I cannot say enough about Steve Noble's YouTube channel. He has some phenomenal violet light transmutation meditations. He's got quick 20-minute meditations to clear your energy field. Find something that you resonate in and create a spiritual discipline for yourself, especially if you want to grow. If you know that your life is destined for so much more, but you just feel like you can't get out of your own way, this stuff can help. And a deeper level of self-love and connection with the self can assist. So what's being activated within you? Wow, here we have the 7 again, right? 7, this is shadow stuff. This is the unseen. Some of you in your numerology may be in a 7-year of your 9-year cycle. To get that, I do this breakdown in my life purpose session. But what you can do is you can take your birth month and the birthday. So my birth month and day is 6/25. And then you add in the year. And as I said earlier, Mother Earth is on the 4 year. So I would add 6 plus 25 plus 4. And what it'll do is it'll come out to a double digit. And so I know that my life, my year is an 8 year. And so whatever 6 plus 25 plus 4 equals, it comes to a double digit. And when you add those two numbers together, it equals 8. Last year was a 7 year for me, and it was major transitions in my shadow. And it was in the unseen. So I had a lot of a recluse energy and hermit energy and trying to process and figure out these patterns and cycles, but I didn't do anything other than lots of meditation, lots of therapy, lots of support from my spiritual community, really deeper connections with the divine. So some of you may be in your 7 year and it's a shadow year for you. It's like hard stuff comes up. Odd number years in your 9 year cycle, the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, the 9, those are like purging years. Those are years of clarity and insight. And when we're not paying attention, it can hit us hard. So here you are. What's being activated within you is change. You cannot keep going in this way and giving from a place of depletion. You can't want deeper levels of connection with the divine and the spiritual journey and not have regular connection and cleansing and clearing of your energy. And this is really even being mindful. Like, for example, reality TV with drama is like going to a Burger King, a Wendy's, or McDonald's on a regular basis. It's really like distorting your energy. So I guess it's okay to watch that sometimes if you're in a good state, but if you're like addicted to it and you're kind of going into it, you got to understand it's not helping your vibration, especially when earth angels are so sensitive right now. So the card says the frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. So see again, friends, here's the surrender. I pulled that back earlier. This was a vibration that came up right from the beginning. Surrender to the process and allow transition to occur with grace and ease. If you're in this space and you're not setting boundaries for yourself through spiritual disciplines and rituals, I'm hearing the sirens again. It's Michael saying, call me in and I can assist you. I can show you. So how can you surrender and ask God to show you what you need to know and what action steps to take that can assist you. Because we've come to this planet, earth angels have come to this planet to know and create with the divine consciously. We've come here to know God as a human on this planet. And in order to do that, we got to clear through our eons of karmic poop. And so that's what this year is. It's a very transitional year. That's what this lifetime is for a lot of souls. It's you get an opportunity to handpick the people, places, things, and ideas that you want in this lifetime and lifetimes forward consciously through Creator, right? It's such a beautiful, incredibly powerful vibration. And you do that just through your own self-love and your own healing. You don't have to do it for other people because it's when, after you're done learning, when it's time to teach, that opportunity will show up in your life. Okay, so finishing up here, overall action steps. Interesting. Workshops and seminars. Attending and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path and purpose. Be open to teaching and learning. I just said this. So, yeah, I mean, what can I say? That's what earth angels have come here to do. We've come here to learn through the 7 energy, being able to, it's very feminine energy, right? If you think about the yin yang, the shadow or the black part of the yin yang is feminine energy. It's yin energy. It's moon energy. It's the unseen. So again, the light is going to shine a light on what you haven't been seeing. And the next pile is pride and creativity. So these piles may just piggyback off of each other. And so maybe you're guided to take a workshop, or maybe there's something that you've been wanting to learn about, and the universe is saying, It's here because there's going to be a call to action. Maybe not everybody is going to do spiritual work in maybe the way I do it, but maybe you'll do it through your own work. Maybe you'll do it through helping people that come along your way. Maybe you'll do it with your friends and your family. Again, the ego wants to tell you, like, I know, I know, and really can kind of create this negative thinking, because what happens is you create tunnel vision. It's like I see when the horses, the Clydesdale horses, when they're in a parade or they're kind of going down, they put like those blinders on the side so that they don't get distracted. And so the ego and the I know can come in and really block other ways for support and healing to come into your life. So, pile 1, you are in a big transitionary state, but that doesn't mean physically. I feel like it means spiritually on so many levels, and you're really going to be called to act on self-love. Like, being mindful, one of the things that I'm mindful of is giving from the overflow. When I feel good, if somebody's asking me to do something, or there's an opportunity or something that comes, I check in with myself first. I pause and saying, God, how am I feeling? And if I'm feeling abundant, I'm feeling joyful, I'll say yes. But if I'm like too much on my plate, I have no problem setting barriers for myself and saying no, thank you. I'm certainly a person that can give people the benefit of the doubt and want to help and be of guidance. But if I'm giving and it's being, like I'm being pulled at, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, I really got to pull back. And now that's from years, years of having that experience and finally knowing what it feels like in my body. So self-discipline, spiritual rituals of you being aware of how you're feeling. Maybe you're going to be activated these next couple months and you feel like your emotions are going to be all over the place. Surrender into them, listen to them, feel them in your body, because you're going to have experiences going forward that may activate you in that way. And you don't have to. They don't have to be dramatic and they don't have to be difficult and challenging, right? So allow transition to occur with ease and grace. Change doesn't always have to be painful. It can actually be a beautiful experience. So, all right. So those of you who chose pile 1, thank you so much for watching. Powerful messages. If this pile resonated with you, click that like button. If you know somebody who can benefit from these readings, please share. If you want to let me know how maybe the number 61 or the energy is showing up in your life in the comments, that would be great too. And I thank you so much for watching. Okay, so those of you who chose pile 2, welcome. New beginnings. All right. So as I did with pile 1, I also want to bring in the surrender. Surrender, pride. Ego, boastful pride. Remember, my intention with these readings was for the divine to show you, like tell you the hard truth of where you need to focus and work on your energy, or what you need to see. So in the integrated energy therapy, or IET system that I work with, pride. So the energy of spiritual pride, which is the light part, the healthy, the good part, we focus energy on the throat and the lungs. The imprint is right below the collarbone. And what we're doing is, when we're imprinting the energy of spiritual pride, it's releasing shame. And that is a very common emotion that earth angels feel. Shameful. Oh, I wish I didn't do that. Even shaming ourselves for what we are and aren't doing. And in that, we can hide. We can hide our true self. We can hide our identity. And then the ego boastful pride kicks in. Now, I'm not talking about the ego like that narcissistic, distorted masculine pride. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the pride of ignoring, procrastinating, and putting off like your true self, or being able to be vulnerable and share your true feelings about how you're really feeling with others that are safe and supportive. There's some people that just, aren't in an emotionally stable place to be able to handle or your emotions and work with. So really pay attention to when you're being vulnerable, how that other person is receiving it. And you're not going to know until you are vulnerable. And then you can kind of pull back. But I'm feeling like now is a time to come out of the closet. Like, what have you been hiding? And then shaming yourself behind the scenes. Let me see. This energy, spiritual pride, is also connected to self-esteem, confidence, worth, value. And so earth angels are so humbly powerful that the distorted 3D world can use that energy to manipulate and control us and make us feel bad about who we are. And then we're different. That's what we've come to this planet to be. To be different, another different vibration. So let me see here. Brand new cycles are going to be starting after these retrogrades for you. So what do you want to leave? And what do you want to release to this Venus, this Saturn, this Pluto energy? So what is in need of healing? Ooh, hidden blessings. So it's interesting. We have 2 and 6 here. 2 plus 6 equals 8. 8 is about cycles, rhythms, repeated patterns over and over again. So here's the thing. How can you see the hidden blessings? There's stuff that I just keep seeing people posting about. Hindsight is 2020. And here we are in 2020. And we're in this place of quarantine and timeout and lockdown to self-reflect. And so hindsight is really being able to see the blessings after the fact. So a lot of times we go through things and we don't understand it and it's not fair, and we go through the grieving process, and then sometimes like a year or two, sometimes 20 years later, you look back and you'd be like, wow, that was incredibly powerful in my life. It was horrible to go through, but it was the best thing for me. So meditation these next couple months and asking God to show you the hidden blessings behind these challenges that you're having. There's like an ego breakdown that's happening. We all have ego. It's activated through fear and worry and doubt. And so, one of the ways I've learned to navigate that ego energy is use it as a compass. When I start feeling anxious, or I start feeling fearful, or I start feeling insecure, I pause in it and I'm saying, okay, this is a navigator for something. How can I transform it? And I look at it and I'm like, okay, is this, as fear is, false expectations appearing real, right? And saying, okay, am I moving forward in the best possible way for myself? So I use fear and worry and doubt as a navigator and a time for me to pause and face the stuff. If not, the ego boastful pride will kick in and you'll resist it. You want to fight it and you'll be like, I'm not going through this again. Or you'll ignore the patterns and cycles and the hidden blessings of why these experiences are coming into your life. So I feel like pile 2, these next couple months is a time for you to be present, and it feels like a time of reflection, looking back, again, that hindsight 2020, looking back at experiences. And maybe some of you have forgotten what you've overcome up until this point. Maybe you're going through another experience and you're like, oh, I just can't do this. Have confidence and spiritual pride, knowing that God's got your back. He's pushing you and moving you through something that's going to be a hidden blessing and amazing on the other side. And then look back at all you've accomplished, all that you've overcome, and be proud of that. Be proud of the person that you are today and what you've overcome because of the experiences you had throughout your life. It's really easy to get caught up in the past and shoulda, coulda, wouldas and stuck and, past relationships, past things that you've done, past connections. There's a lot of karma healing these next couple months for you, pile 2. And again, it's a time for pause, being present, reflection. Mother Nature is blooming. She's exploding with guidance and messages. And when your mind is so far in the future, so far in the past, you'll miss the signs that are happening in the present moment. All right, so what needs to be surrendered during this retrograde? Surrender to what is. Here we are, right? Hidden blessings, spiritual pride. We have this beautiful being right here looking up at the sky. It's like she's taking in the fresh air. There's an air of freedom in surrendering to what is. So the card says, flow with what is instead of fighting it. Again, it's just another version of words that goes with surrender. It says, when you can't change a situation, compassionately accept it exactly as it is. Compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. So I feel like the divine is saying, we know that what you're going through is less than ideal. This ego, boastful pride wants to make you feel like you've got to do more, say more, force something to happen, make it happen. And the divine is saying, when you can surrender to what is, you'll see the hidden blessings, and there's freedom in that. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. So you're only going to be aware of the resistance if you're paying attention to your physical body. I know when I'm resisting, my middle back tenses up, my shoulders go up, and I have shallow breathing. So for me personally, that's my sign in my body that I'm resisting something or I'm fighting something. And so I try to be hyper focused on my physical body, especially as a divine feminine energy. I operate mostly in the feminine energy. I'm all water. There's like dominant water energy in my chart. And so I know I operate through feelings and emotions. And, I grew up in a world that taught me to reject my body, that I was not perfect, or I fought so hard to be like what society said a beautiful woman is supposed to look like. And I'm biologically built completely opposite. I mean, I'm barely 5 feet. I'll never have supermodel legs. It's just never going to happen. So, when I could face that and accept who I am, that pride kept saying, you can do this. You just got to get thinner, you've got to eat healthier. And I have to say, I think a lot of my challenges within my body are because I fought and resisted and pushed my body so hard for so long. And so many of you may be in that space. Maybe you've been doing it mentally, emotionally. Maybe you've been bullying spirit. And so I feel like they're saying, we got your back. Drop the baggage. Breathe. Again, self-esteem, worth, value, right, is in your lungs. Focus energy on your lungs in your area. Like I said, if you tap your thymus, which is like right below your collarbone, on either side, the left side, the right side, if you tap that area, it actually can reduce the fear vibration in your body. It can actually lessen it and calm it. So it's kind of like a tapping like this. Like a very gentle tapping. I'm not asking you to pound your chest, but right below your collarbone, if you take kind of like, let me use her as an example, like right here and right here on the other side. If you tap that area of your body when you're activated with anxiety, gently tap it and take a few deep breaths, you're actually transmuting the energy and you're regaining control. You're basically saying, I am aware and can support my own healing in gentle ways. All right, so what lessons are being learned? Let's put this here. Happiness. Yes. So happiness. I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. So happiness is not a destination, it's a state of being. Again, happiness is not a destination or an end result from something. It is a state of being. And in that, I like to use the Dalai Lama. I mean, he's a perfect example. This man was exiled from his country, and he has people that wanted to take him off this planet. I was blessed to see him a few years ago at a Brown University event. I was like 5th row, and he was just up there, and he was just amazing. It was very divinely orchestrated. And when we left, just as my friend and I went to go step in the street, the police officer stopped us. And so we stepped into the road and then we had to back up on the curb because the Dalai Lama and the Homeland Security and the motorcade was going by us. And I'm like, talk about synchronicities. But it hit me. I'm like, here we have this man of peace, this man who radiates joy and happiness. But yet he lives in a world with people that want to take him out, right? He lives in this world of duality where people do not believe in his level of love and they want to take him off this planet. And so he needs protection and support, right? To keep him safe. And so it's easy to get caught up in those demons. You know, a lot of times the world and the state of the world and the powers that be and who's in control and who's not and what's going on can really activate a lot of fears and us being out of control. And so if you can make a conscious choice to choose happy, whatever that means to you. I mean, it's unrealistic to say we can be happy all the time, but I also believe happiness can go deeper into a state of inner peace and well-being regardless of the chaos that's going on. I like to bring the Psalm 91 up and how with God, no matter what's going on in the world, you'll be protected. You'll be safe. You'll be taken care of. Thousands may fall at your side, but yet here you are in a state of peace. That's true spiritual pride. You know, I have this spiritual pride where I know God has my back 1000%. And of course, you know, if things happen that I might not like, personally, I've been working with acceptance this year, which again goes along with surrendering into what is and being present, finding becoming aware of deeper levels of happiness and inner peace and joy as a way of being, and then really being able to move into the flow of resistance and change that's happening. So things don't always go according to plan, but I've learned that God's plan is way better than anything we could ever imagine. And there'll be hidden blessings that will be coming out in this. So what's being activated for you? Interesting. Fertility. So here we have the 9 energy. Again, this is all about so many of these messages about endings and beginnings and cycles. So we have fertility here. So this might be specifically to some of you. Maybe you're being hard on yourself to make something happen. Maybe this is literal fertility. And maybe you want to grow a family and you've been unable to. This can also be literal, like starting something new, planting seeds, nourishing yourself with healthy foods. So the card says the frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before, right? Tapping into spiritual pride. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness in a new and grander expression of ourselves. And so I feel like this is what's happening. I feel like the divine is saying, if you're in the space of pride and really like hiding and pretending to be something you're not, or maybe you're pretending your marriage is better than it is. Maybe you're pretending your business is better than it is. Maybe and that doesn't mean you have to go telling everybody, but you just got to face it yourself. Like, I'm not where I want to be. And understand anything that grows takes time. So some of you may be impatient with the fertility process. You know, seeds go in the ground, farmers put seeds in the ground, and they have this unconscious faith that it will grow and the cycles and rhythms of life. It's powerful. So you have to believe that what you have planted is growing even though you may not see it, and being happy with what's to come, being happy with the space that you're in, the space of nothingness or the space of pause, being able to lean into the experience even though it may be less than ideal. How do you move to that place of acceptance? And then finally, action steps. Heal away addictions. Telling you, with earth angels, so it's that typical earth angel caregiver narcissist vibration, right? Both are severely lacking in one way or another, meaning those on the narcissistic spectrum, maybe you've had unhealthy or abusive partners or parents in your life. What that comes from is a severe lack of self-love and being able to give to the self. So it's kind of like a feed and hosts on the complete opposite, which is over-giving, oversharing, overdoing, which can tend to be the earth angel perspective, because we get a self of importance or love from the way we give, and then it just becomes a messy imbalance, and earth angels end up like curled up in a ball wondering what happened to their life. And it's very typical, but that's the process. That's what we've come here to learn and overcome. So facing your addictions through these retrograde, through these next couple months, what are the addictions? Is it drama? Is it procrastination? Is it needing to be needed? Is it neediness? Is it buying things to give you the illusion that your life is a certain way? Again, these are just examples. It's not going to resonate with everybody, and you probably already know what it is. It doesn't always have to be wine or beer or alcohol or food or drugs or whatever. Where are the addictions? So if you have a vibration, if you attract people who struggle with addictions in your life, you've got to ask yourself, how is that a mirror to my vibration? What am I addicted to? Negative thinking, misery, judgment? Is it emotional addictions? So the card here says it's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Again, a level of pride or the ego. It's not some, again, shame. Like those, like what are you shaming yourself about? The way you are, the thoughts that you have. It's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. Archangel Raphael, he's the angel that works with miracles. He's the angel of miracles. So again, if you do have people who are challenged with addictions like drugs, alcohol, video games, like things like that in an unhealthy way, pull back and ask yourself, okay, how can I change these things? It's very codependent for people to get sucked into that, to try to want to fix them and save them and change them and make them better. And unfortunately, the hard truth is, friends, if it's a partnership and you leave that partnership, they're just going to find somebody else to feed the beast. I mean, that's just survival. It's law of attraction. So you got to accept and be okay with whatever happens next. If you're single and you're with yourself, being able to face, like, what are you escaping from? Maybe you need to connect with God on a regular basis, or maybe you need to go for walks on a regular basis to feel good, but you're addicted to the negative thinking, or you're addicted to procrastination or distraction and things like that. And a lot of these things could be unconscious. So if you're not aware, I always say, ask God. He will show you truth, and you've got to be ready. You got to be ready and open to receive it. It's like, okay, clearly I can't do this on my own. Again, that's the pride, right? The ego wants you to say, you can fix it and you can save it and you can make it better. When you surrender and open up to spiritual pride and saying, okay, God, I trust in you. I believe in you. I mean, that's what Jesus did, and that was the way he healed. He healed through his belief in the power of this force. In turn, people believed in him and they were healed. Again, it's miraculous. Hence the angel Raphael coming up in this session. Angel Raphael is emerald green. He's very much like Santa Claus energy, a jolly, vibrant, joyful energy. So, I think about when Santa Claus goes into the hospital to bring presents to children who are sick, he may not be able to make them well, but he can bring joy in their life, which lessens the impact and speeds up the recovery process. So maybe you're feeling raw, maybe you're feeling energetically and spiritually sick. Surrender into just saying, okay, I get it. I know this about myself. And some ways of fixing things is beyond the human experience. So how can you call on God saying, okay, this is what it is. This is where I want to be in this joyful inner peace, regardless of what's going on in my life. I want to grow something better. Show me what I need to know about my shadow, and you'll see the hidden blessings. And then from there, you'll be able to teach that to others. Okay, let's see here. Let me wrap up. I think that's all I got to say about that. So pile number 2, thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know by hitting that like button. It helps me navigate what sessions you're enjoying, what not to do. If you know somebody who can benefit from these readings, please share it with them. And if you feel like you have something you want to share, additional messages down in the comments, obviously, I say be respectful and supportive and nurturing and loving in your comments. It's always nice to be able to read them as well. So thank you so much for watching Pile 2. Okay, those of you who chose Pile 3, welcome. So, creativity, pleasure, laughter. Let me see. It's such a bright card. I really get a lot of sun energy. So some of you, maybe you've been inside for a very long time, and some of you may need vitamin D. Now, this is a general message, so not everybody, benefits from being out in the sun. So take care of yourself, wear your sunscreen, protect your skin. Just being outside in the fresh air. I went for a walk today, and I had my sweatshirt on, and my what do you call them? Exercise pants. And so I was covered up, but it was really nice to get the sunshine on my face. I stood by the water for a little bit and let the breeze just kind of fill me up. I gave that time of pause, and really I came back from my walk and I was inspired to do this reading. So it just kind of made sense to me. Like, of course, I was outside, I was receiving from nature, I felt good, and now I'm inspired to create these readings, create this energy. So that's maybe the pathway. So maybe you have really great ideas, and maybe there's a lot you want to be doing, but you're having a hard time getting motivated, you're feeling stuck, maybe you've been in the house too long, maybe you've been working in front of a computer screen and you're feeling kind of drained. Maybe some of you, and practice discernment with this message, some of you need vitamin D. If you've kind of gotten away from spiritual practices, or you've gotten away from taking care of your body and taking vitamins or multivitamin, maybe this is a sign to do that will help you with creative energy. 3 for me reminds me of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, which is balance, masculine and feminine energy. So, a lot of times, not a lot of times, what do I want to say? The new ways of making money in the world is through creator energy. If you think about the people who are being of service in the world, and they're creating content, they're creating music, they're putting things out in the world, and what they're doing is like infinite. So Keith Urban, for example, he sings. I love country music. He sings. What is it? John Deere, John 3:16, that song. So he sings about God. He sings from this beautiful space, this vibration, and it's an infinite number of songs that he can create through divine inspiration, through what he sees in the world. So you're being asked to shift from that box thinking of making money and tap into your creative energy. It can just start by you pulling out that mandala book with colored pencils, or painting, or problem solving and troubleshooting some stuff. Creativity doesn't always mean getting fancy with art and crafts. It's also a form of problem solving. My life path number is a 3. It's very highly creative energy, but I'm also a problem solver for people. I see things from a different perspective that they may not see. And so that's part of my creativity. And personally, I have to find balance with how much I'm giving in that and how much I'm creating within myself and growing personally and receiving from the energy. So what's healing through this retrograde energy? Seek seclusion. Let's see here. And it's funny, 2 + 4 = 6. It's interesting because here I am talking about you getting out, and then the card comes up, seek seclusion. So I feel like they're saying, get out in the sunshine with yourself. Not with friends, not with family members, not calling somebody else in. I feel like the divine is saying, do this, get some sun, get out in nature, sit and receive from nature in seclusion with yourself. Because really, we know in a spiritual vibration, we're never alone. God, source, creator, the angels, the gods, the goddesses, the ascended masters, they're all with us at any given moment. So when you're in this place of seclusion, you'll see more, hear more, and feel more that you may not have with other people around. So my YouTube channel, this channel, and being inspired to do these readings came from solitude. It came from me going to a place of seeking seclusion. I was bored where I was at, and there was a lot of drama in my life at the time. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I'm like, God, what can I do to reach more people? And so it took some time of, just kind of meditating and asking the question and being open to receive. And then all of a sudden one day, the angel cards popped up in my mind on YouTube. And I was like, that's interesting. So I went to YouTube and I realized that it's a whole big thing. There are people with hundreds of thousands of followers and do readings. And so I'm like, okay. So I just started following them and seeing what I liked, what I resonated with, what wasn't for me. And I started to find a pathway, and here we are, almost over 1,000 subscribers, people who are actively tuning in every single week for these readings. And again, growing at a slow pace, but yet I have beautiful quality, amazing earth angel subscribers. So again, it's like the patience with the process and things growing, but it comes from these ideas, comes from seclusion and creating space and time with God. So this isn't something that you have to come up with all on your own. You can use that space and time for God to show you. So here's the thing here. It's interesting. I'm seeing this energy here with, so maybe some of you, maybe it's love, maybe it's a partnership that you want to create, you want to grow, and maybe when you create time for yourself and you get in your own love vibration, it'll be a vibrational match. So that's just for a very small group of people out there who are watching. But I'm also guided to share, like, this is God, like the knight in shining armor. And so he'll find you in this place of seclusion. Like, so you don't have to hunt for the next big thing. You don't have to go on the hunt and try to find the next thing. I feel like what you're seeking is seeking you. Maybe that's a relationship. Maybe it's an idea. Maybe it's God. There's no coincidence that there's this beautiful lit up pathway that this divine being, it's the balance of the masculine and feminine. How can your own inner masculine take care of you during this time to provide, to protect for you as you go into this space of receiving of feminine energy? So let's see here. What do you need to surrender? Inner peace. Now, clearly this person, she looks a little distraught. Maybe unhappy with where she's at, or maybe the plans haven't worked out. Maybe you've tried to set things in motion. Maybe you've tried to be joyful, and it's just, you keep falling into this slump. And so I feel like as you surrender to inner peace, whatever that means to you, cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Wow, I feel like this is an explanation of this. And as I was just mentioning, seclusion, right? Sitting in silence. And this card says, cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet, meditative moments. Focus on the stillness within, enjoy your inner refuge. So I feel like God is saying, come back to me. Oh, my house just lost power. That's so crazy. So hopefully you can still see. I'm going to keep going because I'm like an hour deep into this thing. And so surrender to the inner peace. Oh, that's so crazy. Here the light is again. Wow. Lost power. That's symbolic. Let's see here. Let me see. All right, let me try to turn this thing back on here. Okay, there we go. And then there was light. Wow. Let me just sit for a moment on that. What does that mean? We lost power. Maybe you're trying to do too much. Maybe you're trying to do too much and you're losing your power. And so sitting in seclusion, finding healthy spiritual rituals that you're doing on a regular basis to find inner peace is the pathway. Wow. Clearly, the divine was making a point. So ask yourself, where are you losing your power? That's So where is your power leaking out? I want to say that of the words I'm getting is that's robbing you from your creativity and your inner peace. But I don't want you to blame somebody else and go into victim mode. So that's why I'm kind of trying to choose my words. So how can you dial into Creator during meditation to be your source of power? So maybe you keep going to other people. Maybe you're going to a bunch of different readings and saying, tell me what to do. What do I need to know? What's my life's purpose? What's the next step for me? And maybe you're just getting a bunch of like mixed signals, mixed messages, all different kinds of guidance. And in a way, I feel like the divine is saying you're losing your power that way. You're giving power to other people to tell you who you are and what you should be doing. Now, there's a difference with seeking support and guidance. I had a client come in and she just started a new relationship, and she was telling this person that she was coming to see me, and we do coaching work and guidance. And he said, well, why do you do that? Like, why do you feel like you need to go to something like that? And she gave him this explanation, which I believe is brilliant. It's brilliant, and this is why I share it. She said to him that, she goes, have you ever been into a relationship, or have you ever had a friend in a relationship that wasn't healthy and the person wasn't good for them and everybody knew it but them? And maybe we've all, especially as earth angels, have all been in unhealthy relationships with people that have taken advantage of us, but yet we didn't see it, but other people did. She said that's why she does coaching. That's why she goes for spiritual support, because she was basically saying that's what I do, is I'm able to shine a light on things that she may not see and give her perspective. Now, I'm merely a guide. So I present in my work, in my coaching work, in my readings, I present information, and I always leave clients like with the plate to decide what they want to do with it. And so that's what having mutual support is. And so when you can create seclusion in the place of stillness, God can do that for you. He can help you see through meditation what you're not seeing, which in turn activates this inspiration, this inner peace, and this creative energy. All right, so that was wild. All right, so let's see here. What lessons are you learning? Let's put this up here. What lessons are being learned? Adversity. Interesting. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Ooh. So you're learning how to move through adversity. It's like resistance. So in order to find that pathway to creativity, you're gonna come up against resistance, which is the ego part of you that wants to keep you contained. There's a book, You Are a Badass by I believe it's Jen Sincero, and she talks about this, how when we spiritually grow and evolve, the ego part of us, or the shadow, or the dark forces, or whatever you want to call it, it's not a bad thing. It's just limitations and blocks and stuff, wants to keep you contained. And this is why most times when people make these big changes in their life, like it chaos ensues and disorder and disarray, because it's like a rebalancing. So how can you use adversity and challenges and resistance to grow stronger? Makes me think of arm like weights, and you go into a gym and you can only lift 3-pound weights for so long before it doesn't do anything for you. At some point, you have to up level. 4, 5, 6. I know I follow some people on Instagram who are amazing with lifting weights, and they know how to kind of push through adversity and challenges, but they do it in a healthy way. They listen to their body. So don't push yourself beyond your comfort zone and what feels right to you. And you're not going to know that until you push. I do this 30-day arm challenge. I've been doing it for months now. And, maybe, I think I'm in like the 8th round now. I'm still at 4-pound weights. I haven't finished it every single time. But for me, as soon as I stop doing it, after a few weeks, I start to feel the pain in my body again. And so, I'm learning to continue to show up to it, to feel and breathe through the resistance. As the days go on, the reps get higher, and the amount that you do shifts every single day. And so I'm learning how to move through adversity by feeling my body wanting to resist and not do it. And then when I forget about it the next day because I'm sore, 11:30 the other night, I was like, oh man, I forgot to do that day. I'll tell you, friends, I got out of bed in my pajamas and I finished that day. And it's like, how do you continue to show up for things that are healthy and good for you? So there's a difference between healthy discipline and sabotage and bullying and forcing yourself when you're depleted. This is what you're navigating through. Resistance, adversity. How can you transform it and revitalize your system and your energy with it? So there are 2 activation cards here. So let's see here. The first activation card for this retrograde is conception. Interesting. We have another 7. 7 has been a number that's been coming up all through these readings. Conception. And then we have prosperity. Wow, I'll tell you, creativity and projects can create prosperity, but you got to start things, right? So birthing new ideas. Let's read them here. Wow, so 7, which is the shadow, the unseen, spiritual growth. And then we have 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. Oh man, I'm losing it. I'm like deep in right brain. When I add these numbers, I have to swing over to left brain. So 6 plus 3 is 9. So again, the completion of a cycle with prosperity. So it says the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. God, source, creator, universe, right? All that is unconditional love vibration. It says it helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Again, if you've been feeling resistance, if you've been feeling ornery or adversity, Get yourself away from people. People don't realize that being around other energies, especially for earth angels, can be distorted. Now, this doesn't mean that people have power and control over us, but if we're not practicing regular cleansing practices and clearing, it's like going for a run and sweating. It's inevitable. You're going to get dirty. You're going to sweat. You're going to smell. So you go home and take a shower and get clean again. You're not going to not go running because you're going to smell. Or some people like going ATV and they like going in the mud. Well, it's inevitable. You're going to get dirty. It's part of it. What do? You go home and you get clean. You clean your truck, you clean your ATV. That's just part of the process. So you've got to see when earth angels work and they go out in the world, it's inevitable to pick up other people's stuff. It's part of who you are. Just take a shower, take a spiritual shower, go into seclusion, call on the divine, ask them to help you clear your energy. And so I feel like this is where God is saying, come back to me, come back to source. When you're feeling, let me see, what's the opposite of, sacral chakra, joy, pleasure. When you're feeling stress and powerlessness, that's the energy. When you're feeling stress, when you're feeling like powerless to situations and experience, and you're feeling the adversity, God is saying, come back to me. God is in the unseen. Seven energy is the spiritual vibration. It's going within, right? Inner peace is within, which is the 7 energy. And again, what else is being activated through this is prosperity. So it says the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebrate in celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. So beautiful. So I feel like God is saying the key to joy, happiness, inner peace, the inspiration, the creative ideas are within. And there might be an ego part of you that's going to want to create adversity, that's going to want to create blocks, that's not going to want to see it, that's going to make you want to distract yourself. Doing things that aren't going to be, that's not going to nourish your soul. Okay, so let's see here. Final message. Overall, what action steps can you take to support your healing? Oh my gosh. Have you asked your angels for help with this? Friends, this reading, so whatever you are guided to the 3, again, maybe it's power, maybe it's connected to money, maybe it's creativity is connected to joy, maybe it's growing something. This whole reading is about seek seclusion, go within, come to God, ask your angels. So maybe they're seeing there's resistance. Maybe you're seeing the adversity in the world and the challenges. How do you breathe through it? And maybe what you've been working on isn't working out. Maybe there's not the money there, or maybe there's like the things aren't unfolding. Maybe, you embarked on this journey and now everything has been in shutdown and you don't know where you're at and what's going to happen. And I feel like God is saying, come to me. I have the answer. So I feel like those of you who chose pile 3, now that all the cards are out there, maybe you've been feeling a little lost. Maybe you've been feeling, a little alone. And so, which, this person is here looking a little despondent, but God is saying, I'll find you. I'm coming to you right now through this reading. Let me in, come to me. And all you have to do is kind of like open your heart, right? Here's this freedom energy as this person is taking the leap of faith. Don't doubt the leaps of faith that you've made. Don't doubt all the steps that you've taken up until this point. The angels and God is saying that we have another pathway. We needed you to get to where you're at, to a point, but there's something more for you, and it's going to require a level of creativity from within. You're going to have to come through the energy. You're going to have to be inspired by the insight from within. You'll feel it in your physical body and not necessarily in your mental mind. Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. So if you've been in that place like, where's God? It's not working out. It's not my vision or what I saw. I feel like the angels are saying the universe abides by the law of free will. This is why regular practices of cleansing your body, chakra clearing, energy work, meditation, opening up to God, calling on the Archangel Michael as the police of earth angels to provide and protect you. As you invite these energies in your life, it gives them permission to work in and through you. They will not, cannot, and won't unless it's like catastrophic and it's not your time yet. And there's divine intervention in that way. So some of you, I'm feeling, are not here yet. You're not in this space yet. So if you're up with me into this point, but you're not completely feeling all this, again, this was a reading to support you through the retrograde energy, the retrograde rigmarole. So this could be stuff that comes up for you during the next couple of months, May and June. So keep that in mind. All right. And I want to bring this back in. The overall message that we started is surrender. So if you're like, Gladys, what do I do? Okay, I'm asking angels, what do I do? They're saying surrender into and accept the will of what is in the moment. All right. I'm done now. Let me close space. So those of you who chose pile 3, thank you so much for watching. Excuse me. If this resonated with you, if this pile resonated with you, click that like button. It helps me to know if you like these readings and you want me to do more of things like this. If you know somebody that could benefit, if this was speaking to somebody, one of your friends or family members, somebody that you love, and they've been talking about this and this can be insight for them, please share it with them. And, if there's more information or if there's, something that you want to say to support people, maybe your own experience, leave that in the comments. I always ask that, whatever you're commenting on, it comes from a respectful, nourishing, loving, kind place. Thank you so much for those of you who do put your comments. It's so supportive. You have no idea how much it helps others. So thank you for doing that. I truly appreciate it. So I'm going to put the piles out here and close space. For those of you who like completion and like to watch things go full circle. All right, let's see here. Let's just get them all situated. All right, so let me thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done in mind, body, spirit, and emotions, and always in all directions of time. All right, friends, I'm sending my love to you throughout this retrograde season. Know that it can be your source of empowerment. It can shine a light on things to help you move forward. So use this energy to revitalize your system and empower yourself. I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.